Welcome back, everybody. It's your boy, Golden Falls, Golden What If, whatever you want to call me, and I'm happy to be back. This is actually one of the biggest videos I've done in a long time in terms of support from y'all. So I want to say from the bottom of my heart, I appreciate it. I really enjoy Blue Lock. My good friend Xblick convinced me to watch it, and now I'm making what ifs on it as a little throw in the wrench type of thing to test some things out, and I've seen insane things with the first episode. So welcome to What If Isagi had a stat leveling system. It's part 2, and if you enjoy, make sure to show some love, and let's get right into the video. Let's get it. The first game is officially, completely, and utterly wrapped up. The next game is against Team Y. They're not exactly sure who they are, what they consist of, but they don't really take too much solace in that. They speak about a game plan. Isagi says that if they want to win, they should let him facilitate and orchestrate everything from here on out. Of course, many of them take offense to this, saying that they're not going to be able to do anything, but Isagi tells them that all that matters is them winning, right? At least for now. He tells them that he can make an assumption that soon, very soon, everything's going to change. All of them could get through, and plus, if they start losing from here on out, he'll just take it upon himself to make sure they win. And they're all confused and pretty shocked by this, but should they at this point? And Kunigami, Bachira, and a couple others aren't. They say that Isagi is correct, that they should flow through him. And Isagi would look toward Kunigami and Bachira, saying that these two right here, if they want to win, well, from here on out, they should allow them to take the forefront. He does look at some other people, and let's just say he's not very good with names. He hasn't really cared much about names, but he does look at one of the people. He has an odd looking hairstyle, and he points at him. He says that this guy right here is very athletic, someone that will throw their body in the harm's way. He's about to say his name, but Isagi would cut him off, saying that it doesn't matter what names are what, all they need to know is they're going to win. He says they'll implement as much as possible other people, but at the end of the day, he won't guarantee anything. But what he will guarantee, at least at this moment, is that he'll let them score the first 2 goals. But he feels that it's time to let someone off their leash. It's as if a rabid dog is being chained down. He looks toward Bachira, saying that he may have been looking for someone that also has a monster. But he then tells Bachira that he's letting the monster control him. Isagi just leaves the room, saying that he's going to get showered up and ready to go for the next day, and Bachira is there, standing there at a loss for words. Everybody is weirded out by this. They ask Bachira what he means by monster, but Bachira gives some vague answer. He knows that Isagi is the only one that would understand this. Kunigami himself is kind of sitting there thinking about everything that just happened. Does Isagi really think Kunigami's that good? Same thing with Bachira. What about the other people? Are they not that good? Isagi doesn't even think that far ahead, at least not at this moment. While he's showering and getting ready, he begins looking at his stat leveling systems, seeing that he's gotten extra experience and extra points for every single, goal and every single, just win they've gotten so far. Being that it's only game 1 finished, he does have extra points from game 1. He begins to sort them out, and as he does, something else pops up. It says that the next quest is game 2, which is obvious. I mean, it's against Team Y, and he understands that much. But another screen will pop up right after, saying that he needs to pick what type of true football player he is. And he looks and he's confused. What does this even mean? I mean, he knows what type of football player he is. He's a striker. But there's different versions of a striker. It might sound weird, but Isagi has various different builds that are already let out for him, builds that make him more lethal in the passing game, especially when he's charging straight at the goal. Maybe it makes it almost impossible for them to tell if it's going to be a pass or a shot. A lethality, something that would allow more or less Isagi to be almost 100% accurate, if not 100% accurate, from a certain distance from the goal. Isagi's not so sure. He doesn't want to fit himself into a role like this, but if he has to, he'll pick one. He assumes that it will only benefit him, so he decides to be more of a facilitator, you could say. But he does this because he thinks that his striking is already lethal. He believes that if he makes himself an even greater facilitator, making him so that if he kicks the ball, well, nobody can even tell if it's a pass or a shot on goal, that he feels that he could be even more lethal than this so-called lethality bill that he can score from wherever. After getting ready and getting dressed, he would exit and go into the room, but as he goes into the room, Bachira would be standing there waiting for him, questioning what he means by not letting the monster speak. Isagi says that the monster slows him down. Inside his own head, Bachira thinks way too much. Yes, he needs to go back to having fun. He's seen it before, when they were kicking the ball back at each other during the game of tag. He knows Bachira can be happy, have fun, and do many, many things. Bachira hears this, and he realizes it. He realizes that Isagi's right. He lost his way. He's no longer playing the soccer he wants. He's no longer playing to have fun. He smiles at this and he nods toward Isagi. And Isagi says that he'll expect some fireworks the next time they get out there. They all head to bed and they eventually would arrive on the field the next day against Team Y. Team Y would consist of a couple people that they wouldn't know much about, but Isagi would already be able to get a lay of the land relatively quickly, looking around, and he can tell that certain people are extremely lethal. He sees a kid with a weird haircut, kind of covering his eyes entirely. He feels that the most lethal person is him, but then he looks around to see another person, and he sees that this person may be extremely fast. Maybe they're looking for breakaway passes, but he doesn't understand why. This other kid, he can tell that he will be lethal, but why is he just falling in line? He shrugs this off. He doesn't care very much. I mean, he knows that they have to win, and that's all that really matters. So when the game starts and the whistle blows, Isagi would kick it to Bachira, as he immediately would sprint into the best possible place to go at this moment. Just from intuition, he begins to realize that he can see the entire field in many ways that he couldn't even possibly imagine. Yes, don't get me wrong, Isagi was pretty good at reading the field initially, but this is different. He was able to only see what his eyes could see, but now he's seeing more. Out of nowhere, something would pop up on his interface, as if he's not in the middle of a game. I mean, why is he seeing this now? Why is his eyes playing tricks on him now? He's in the middle of game 2. He sees that many, many skills are in front of him. Something known as metavision, copycats, and even more. Various lists and go on and on and on. And Isagi's overwhelmed, seeing that they all take copious amounts of experience and skill points, but then it all shuts down. Isagi would look to his left, and Bachira, with a large smile on his face, would cut through the entirety of Team Y. One through the legs. He does small cuts to the right, juking another one out. He immediately would toss it over the next, and he would be gone past 3 people already. Everybody would scream, "Isagi, get down there!" And on top of that, telling Bachira to pass it to him, but Bachira would still be smiling. Isagi moving around to just more or less allow Bachira more space. He sees something in Bachira. He sees that Bachira has found his brand of soccer, his true brand of soccer. Isagi would be laughing as he's cutting through the defense, just drawing people off of Bachira, and Kunigami seems to start doing the same, as if he's reading exactly what Isagi is doing, realizing that Isagi has a plan. But this plan is only to allow Bachira to get through. Bachira would eventually cut through everybody, almost everybody, outside of the people that Isagi and Kunigami have gotten off of him, and he kicks the ball, and so hard to the point that there was no reacting. Bachira would smile, and he would begin laughing, and he would say that he truly has found his brand of soccer once again. And Isagi would laugh at this, saying that sometimes you need to let the monster go away. Put the monster's words to rest to truly find the monster you are. Isagi would back up and everybody in Team Y would be completely out of it. What the hell? Of course, they tell them to just focus up, focus up. They still got this. Team Y would deploy their little plan, and a beautiful pass would be sent down the side of the field, but Isagi would be able to read it, kicking the ball out of bounds and allowing them to reset once again. The reset makes everybody on Team Y kind of panic. This was their kill shot, but he read it. He read it. No, he didn't read it really. He was just faster to react. He was just quicker. Oh my god, this guy, he must have experience. He must. That's all it is. Isagi would await the pass in, and as the pass comes in to one of the players of Team Y, it would get kicked off to someone else. But as it gets kicked off to someone else, it would get nudged up. And as it gets nudged up, it would land right in front of Isagi. How cruel luck truly is. Isagi would pass the ball upward, and as he runs with the ball himself, he sees Kunigami cutting through like an absolute monster on the field. He smiles as he kicks it toward Kunigami, and he lasers the ball through the net once again, and Team Z is up 2-0. Just like that. Team Y seems to be completely out of the game, not understanding why their tactics aren't working and not understanding what's truly occurring. Isagi not only can realize what they're doing, but he already knows that it's flowing through one person. Because the next time the ball gets kicked in and it goes straight to Nico, he stands in front of him, saying that he'd be much better as a true striker. Why is he not letting his ego take over? He would steal the ball from Nico as he begins to dart through the defense, and he smiles as Bachira watches him and begins to clap. The monster within, well, Isagi, has awakened, and Isagi, well, uses that monster in his own way, because Isagi is truly the monster. He kicks the ball. Isagi easily would just thread the needle between defender after defender, lasering the ball into the top left, and after he scores, making it 3-0, he would say that this challenge of Team Y is nothing. Even the so-called fake king gave him a better challenge than them. He would walk back, and Bachira would be celebrating, and Kunigami would be as well. He would tell them that they should switch out. Other people should get in. He won't score anymore, he promises. He'll set everyone else up for goals. Let's have some fun. And that fun would ensue. A complete and utter domination of Team Y. Isagi not only is stronger himself, his ego may have been rivaling so many, and his ego may be off the charts, but at the same time, he's making everybody so much better, so much stronger, that it's not even funny. He tells them that after halftime, they will switch, and then about halfway through that period, well, they'll switch back. It won't be anything too crazy, and that's exactly what ensues, and it ends up leading them to winning 8-0. Isagi, after the game, would walk up toward Nico, saying that he should really reconsider his game plan, because all it takes is talent, and all it takes, well, is someone like him to completely disintegrate a plan. Of course, Nico would tell him to F off. Get out of here. Why does he want to see him take off? He doesn't want to talk to him. I mean, he just beat the living hell out of his team, or their team. So, of course he doesn't want to hear from him. But Isagi shrugs it off, saying that he's just, well, giving him some advice. Sometimes you'll have to let your ego take over and start calling the true shots. And he would then eventually leave. Isagi would just head out. He wouldn't say much more, wouldn't say much less. He would understand and know exactly what Nico was thinking, and he knows that he will soon become a monster himself. Isagi would leave with his team and they would celebrate. I mean, Isagi is still a good dude. I mean, overall, yes, he is a bit blunt. I mean, that comes with being extremely talented. That comes with basically him just being kind of the best at the moment and kind of unchecked entirely. So he is still really nice though, especially in casual type of situations and stuff like that. Isagi would begin speaking with everybody, trying to get a feel for what everyone can do, and he would begin speaking to many of them, learning that some jump high, they risk their bodies. I mean, you have someone like Kunigami and Bachira who basically have insane strike or insane shooting ability, and one with an insane dribbling ability. And then he gets to one other person, Chiguri. He's curious, very curious. He tells Chiguri by the way he walks, he seems odd. Chiguri doesn't want to say much about it, but eventually he would speak with Isagi later in the night. He would speak with Chiguri while they're actually just watching some film, and Chiguri would tell him exactly what happened. He would tell Isagi that he tore his, and just as he's about to say, Isagi cuts in and says his ACL. He assumes it was about a year ago. People that tear their ACLs and stuff like that, of course they're fearful to even take a step. He understands. He gets it. But he wonders, why is he here? Is he waiting for his soccer career to die? I mean, he doesn't want to see that. Isagi says he wants to see more monsters. He wants to see more absolute insane football players. That's what he wants to see. Isagi says that he knows that it doesn't matter what he wants. It matters what Chiguri wants, but still, he wants him to know that if he wants to get involved, he'll get involved. And he'll be able to tell and smell the goal once he starts running. Because he can tell that a torn ACL may be hiding insane amounts of speed. He tells him one last time that it's going to be fun, even if he decides not to do what he wants to do. And Chiguri hears him out, but doesn't say much more after it. Their preparation would eventually begin. It's time for them to more or less take on the next team. It's going to be Team Z versus Team W. After learning that they are actually not at the very top, it's actually Team V who have scored insane amounts of goals, but Team Z is firmly in the second place spot. It's kind of a foregone conclusion that it's going to be Team V and Team Z, but their match is against Team W, and more or less it would be a bit of a slugfest. And honestly, it would start with Isagi. It would all start with Isagi, and he would immediately start passing it up to Bachira, as Bachira would cut through them like butter. And they did their homework, don't get me wrong, but Bachira has come so far in such a short amount of time that he makes quick work of the defense, getting his first goal in the first couple minutes of the game. But the twins on Team W would definitely make for one hell of a tandem. Team W would have two twins that would be insane. The Wanama twins. This would allow the Wanama twins to cut through the defense of Isagi's team, or Team Z, and Isagi would smile. These people, they're interesting. Bachira would see that it seems like Isagi's just downloading. As the Wanama twins score and score easily, it's now 1-1. Isagi then tells them that shutting them down will shut down everything. They're just like the last team. He would shake his head and even tell them that, saying that all they are is two people. Such a simple plan. Such a simple plan. Isagi would spread the field relatively quickly as the next score seems to be in range. As they're about halfway or at the half line of the field, he would pass it back and forth with Bachira as he's looking for a goal for Kunigami. But then as he's darting to the right side, he feels something. What the hell is that? He looks to his left to see an explosion. In his own eyes, an explosion of speed. He looks and he sees an opening, and an opening for a goal, a pretty easy one at that, and he chucks the ball, kicking it so hard that everybody's shocked. Where the hell is he kicking it? Everybody else recovers and tries to back up toward the ball, allowing, well, for it to be a legal pass, and then out of nowhere, someone comes charging in. It's Chiguri, someone that nobody even expected, and their strategy didn't even involve him, but Bachira would smile. Another monster has truly entered the field. He kicks the ball and scores. The twins are shocked, and the entirety of the other team is shocked. What the hell was that? They all thought that Chiguri was out, that he was gone. He wanted to wait for his career to die, and Isagi was more or less just allowing it to go on just little by little. Isagi wasn't just letting his career go on little by little. He was convincing Chiguri to run on that knee. Run until he can't run ever again. Chiguri has just entered the field, the true field, and has now given them even more weapons. We're talking about Isagi having another extremely potent weapon, and now they're up 2-1. The twins think that it's just going to be a shootout. Let's get as many goals as possible. Let's go bring and shoot it up as much as possible. 10-10, I don't know, 15-15. They think at least they will get as many goals as possible. Maybe they can somehow pull it out. They don't know, but they're going to have to pull something out. And as they're trying to do this, it seems like the defense is beginning to flow a lot better at that. Bachira picking up the pace and also cutting them off at different courses. Various other people also in their team Z, cutting them off very quickly at that. Even the monk boy, some of the monk boy is out here with insane clamps and defense. Raichi would come barreling down right after the monk boy. Iragashi would more or less stop the twins, stealing the ball, and he begins to bolt out. As he does, he thinks to himself, do they want to win? He wants to win. He'll prove that he's the best striker later. He doesn't give an F about this right now. He'll put on the most beautiful and amazing defense they've ever seen in their lives. He kicks the ball, passing it to Isagi, and even Isagi's pretty surprised. Bachira would smile, and Isagi would begin to cut through the defense as he's opening a pocket for the one and only Kunigami. He kicks the ball, and he sees Kunigami. It's actually deeper than his normal range, and all he can think about is that it's time for him to evolve too. Everybody seems to be evolving quicker with Isagi Yoichi. Now, Kunigami, it's time for you to devour everyone. He kicks the ball, and it's like a bullet. You can hear the whistle of the wind slam, and eventually slamming into the net. Isagi would smile. Kunigami is only getting better. This game has been in complete lockdown since Isagi started taking the forefront. He refused to let the twins get started, and he refuses to let them do a single thing, especially with their cocky demeanors. I mean, yeah, he likes a good ego, but this is ridiculous, and they're so annoying. What are they even saying? So he begins to unleash no mercy on them. He tells them all that he's not going to do what he normally does, hold back and eventually let the time run out. Nah. They're going to score as much as possible. He feels that this would be the best way to evolve many other people. It might even give him a better chance later on. And as he says this, he sees something pop up on his screen, more points, and on top of that, so many points to the point that he feels that he might even be able to unlock an insane skill. But he shakes his head as he clears his vision, and he would continue to thread through the defense, and eventually they would run up the score so much so that it felt as if they should just forfeit. The score would end up being 12-1. And Isagi and his team would just obliterate everything. and everyone on Team W. Team W has now been defeated, and, well, let's just say it's a foregone conclusion that they're going to win. That everything is going to go down, well, to nothing. Because Team Z and Team V, who is currently at the top, at least at this moment, and it's pretty damn close, being that Team Z is actually creeping and arguably probably overtook them just from that game alone, but still pretty neck and neck. But it doesn't really matter. They're both going to get through. But Isagi's questions how good this other team is. I mean, what kind of freaks are on that team? And he would eventually find out. He would see some of them. He would actually visually see some of them while they're just eating dinner. He would walk in to see one that's extremely lazy, kind of talking about how he doesn't really want to practice, doesn't want to really do this and that. And then he looks towards some of the others. He sees that there's a purple-haired one that seems to be very, very calm with the white-haired one. And then another one that looks kind of like a nerd. Well, not really. He kind of says things that is kind of stupid. I don't know. Well, he doesn't really think that much about it, but still, he does speak with them for a little bit and speak with them about what they want. And they talk to him, but they talk to him pretty casually. But they do know who he is. They have heard of him. They know he's strong. They know he's good. They know he's powerful. They know he has an insane IQ. And their little game, Team Z versus Team V, will be insane. Will be absolutely insane. But then Rayo does bring up the fact that, well, it doesn't even matter. It literally doesn't matter. And Nagi would yawn and say that it means that they don't have to try. And Isagi would stare at him. Nagi. I can tell. You're good, huh? Like, real good. Rayo would cut in and say that, yeah, he's the best. And Isagi would look at Rayo and smile. The best? Interesting. He would look at his number and then look back at them. We'll see about that. I hope you're not too lazy, Nagi. I want to see what you can do. Isagi would walk away and Nagi would yawn once again and ask Rayo, is that the guy that he's been talking about? Rayo would nod, saying that Isagi is the monster they've been hearing about. The freak. They're going to have to be on their A game if they want to win. Nagi does remind them that it doesn't matter though. They're already going to get through. And it's true. That is very true. But still, it doesn't matter. After that little conversation, Isagi begins to train, do his normal regimen, and he kind of just, gets ready, gets prepared, and he actually runs into Baro. He speaks with Baro a little bit, and Baro questions everything about Isagi, but Isagi gives him as many answers as possible, saying that he wants the king to be strong, be powerful, be someone greater, because he knows that he can be. Baro is confused. Why the hell does he want to help him anyways? But he tells Baro that a player like him is unpredictable, almost unstoppable. He tells him that he's very similar to Bachira in that way. Once Bachira began to have fun, learn his and know his true way of football, let's just say it felt as if he was unstoppable. He tells Baro that if he wants to be the king, he'll need to channel the villain version of that king. He watches as Baro kind of listens in but doesn't really listen in that well, and he tells Baro that they'll be talking very soon. Maybe sooner than he could possibly even imagine. And he'll be able to know what it's like to be on the same team as a monster like himself. Isagi would say this and Baro would be confused. And he says that, well, how does he even know that all of them are going to get through? And he tells Baro that he's going to have way more goals than everyone else on his team, so he'll get through for sure. But in terms of everything else, let him know that. He has his assumptions at where Blue Lock is going, and he can assume that eventually they'll step on the field, not against each other, but as a team. Isagi would wish him good luck and tell him that he's gonna head to bed, and he leaves. After some training and preparation, there truly is going to be an amazing spectacle. Team Z versus Team V will be the most insane match yet. Will the prodigy Nagi show exactly why he's the god of this field? Or will Isagi once again have it so that he evolves alongside his teammates and he cuts through the god of soccer right on the field they stand? With that said, I hope y'all enjoyed. And I hope y'all enjoyed part 2 of What If Isagi had a stat leveling system. And if you did, leave a like, leave a sub, leave a comment down below, all that good stuff. Blow the video up. I love the support. I appreciate the support, and I appreciate all of you. And I appreciate everyone that's watching this video and everyone that watches the previous video. And that's about it. I hope y'all enjoyed, and I hope all y'all have an amazing day. Later.